What is up, Bantees? Do we have a special episode for you today? This is one of your co-hosts, Haley McClinney, joined by my fabulous best bud,
Sam Fisher. Halo, do you want to tell everybody where you're at today?
I mean, if it's not blatantly obvious, I am set up shop in Tuscaloosa today because we are doing some really fun things that are work-related, so hopefully more fun to come from my trip here. But getting to hang out with all of the best people in the world here in Tuscaloosa,
Roll
Murph,
Tide.
Jaden, the whole staff, everybody's just been awesome as always. So roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I think what a great place to be. What a great environment to be in when we talk about our guests that we have today. I mean, you want to talk greatness. You're involved in greatness. She's involved. She's like the greatest.
She really is the greatest. And she is a philosopher. I think we're just going to go ahead and give her that title.
Yeah.
After speaking to her, just picking her brain about her mental processes and how she approaches the game,
Oh.
it just makes you want to be better, but it makes you like really enjoy the process rather than the outcome. And I think that's one thing that a lot of our listeners just need to hear.
Oh yeah, and across the board, kids that are playing, athletes that are in college, beyond, parents, coaches, anybody with ears. I think it kind of just covers everyone.
Everyone, no
Yeah.
matter what. Even if you're recently retired, I think we both got better chatting with her
100%.
over the course of this interview. So
100%. Once we get
you
off
guys,
of this, yeah.
you guys are going to love this. Enjoy. We have legendary former UCLA pitcher, Team USA pitcher, and every other professional league in the world pitcher, Megan Faraimo.
Bye. Hey, Bantees. What up? We're having a day today. I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to be a really fun, probably delirious episode that you're going to listen to. But let me tell you who we're talking to today. We've got a person who's just next level. She is currently playing professional softball all around the world. She is signed for the 2025 AUSL season. Go Talents. She's been a part of the women's national team since 2022, was on the juniors in 2019, so just kind of been around. Two-time world champion, two-time USA Softball Player of the Year finalist, Pac-12 Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, RIP Pac-12. 2019 NCAA national champion, and most recently earned a silver medal at the 2024 WBSC World Cup Finals, where she earned best ERA and best win-loss average. I mean, who other than Meg Faraimo? Welcome, Meg.
Hola. Buenas tardes.
Man, that is a perfect note to kick off. Meg, we're so happy to hang out with you just in general, but now just getting to like record it and have people see the fun that we get to have together. How are you feeling about let's just start with a really easy question. How are you feeling with where you're at in your career right now?
I feel pretty good. This might be a little off topic, but I was just telling one of my teammates, I think I'm like 5 months away from turning 25. And my biggest fear right now is that my frontal lobe is going to develop very soon. And I'm going to be like right here where I am right now. So in my career, I'm super excited that all these opportunities keep coming and I just keep trying to learn. And right now, my biggest timeline is that frontal lobe development that I'm trying to but I'm good. I mean, I'm traveling the world. I'm doing what I love and I'm doing it with people that I love. So it's just been really fun all the way around.
The pipeline to the women's national team.
HPP has helped me find a new identity in like who I am as a player. It's helped show how hard work pays off, and it's really got me excited for the future of our game, the future for me, the future for my fellow athletes, and for what I strive to do in the future in college and then potentially with USA Softball in the future.
All right, Meg, I would love to know, since we have a lot of younger listeners out here, and I think we have a lot of young pitchers as well, one thing I've always admired about your entire career is I don't feel like whenever you do make a mistake, which is inevitable, right, in softball, I never feel like you let that linger. I always feel like you see any sort of failure or setback as an opportunity to, like, launch yourself into success, and you really kind of embody this relentless work ethic, Kobe type of mentality. I want to know where that came from. Was it a specific moment in your career, or was it just something that kind of evolved over time?
I think that it definitely came with a lot of maturity. I had to fail a lot in this game, and that's going to come naturally. But something that's always been a part of me is my stubbornness and my belief in myself. I've never really quit or let things of the game or even in life get me down. And I think that's a huge part of it. I will say, though, that it took me going through my UCLA career and working with Coach Lisa to learn how to love the learning process. I think, and that's what I mean about maturity. It did take that for me, but I mean, no matter what, I was always going to be stubborn and I was never going to quit.
Oh, I dig that, because I think stubborn is actually something I feel like that's used negatively, that people might feel a player, well, she's stubborn, she's uncoachable or whatever. But I love hearing you use it as an advantage to yourself of like, no, man, like I'm digging my heels in here. Like, I know I can do this. I'm confident I can do this. And I think that that's a really positive side to something that people don't always see as a positive. So was there, how do you feel like that stubbornness shows itself now? Can you give us an example?
Well, okay, so one thing I think about is when I was little, my parents, and God bless them, like they're my hugest support systems, would do literally anything to help me move towards my goals. But I mean, it could be frustrating, especially catching someone who, when I was younger, had a little bit of an attitude problem. And so sometimes they would just have to leave. We have a park right next to my house. And like, sometimes they would just have to take a second from me. And I remember as a little girl, like 8 to 10 years old even, and I would stay at that field and I would keep going and I'd keep going. And it didn't matter if I was going to do it on my own. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to get my work done. And how that translates now is I've, played on a few pro teams now. I've been across the world and my process is still the same. Like today I'm about to hit a bullpen and it's going to be over 100 pitches and I'm just going to stay there and get it done. Like I'm tired. I'm traveling. We just had games, but no matter what, the process is the process. Hey, look, you've also talked to me about this a little bit, and that's helped me enjoy it a lot more. Just understanding that the grind is, you have to be stubborn about it, whether you want to get it done or not. The feelings in the moment of the work don't really matter. You're just going to get it done.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go through a bullpen now.
Yeah, let's our pitches. Let's
Honestly,
go.
through pitches, yeah, my arm would literally fall off from doing that. But I love that, and I think that mentality, I think, is what it means to wear the jersey a little bit of playing on Team USA. And I know Sam and I revisit this often, but like we vividly remember the first time we put on a USA jersey. And I want to know, Meg, like, what was your experience from that? What did it mean to you? What was your tryout process like, your evaluation process? Like, I would just love to get inside your brain going through all of that.
Are we talking about like the very first time when I was on like U19s? Like that was the junior national
the
team?
first time you ever were like, this is USA, and this is Faraimo on the back and those 3 letters on the front.
Oh, I remember, I mean, there's things like the pride I take in the country that I live in. As like a second generation, I feel like I'm living the dream that my grandparents came to the States for. And I just remember all of that hitting me when I was, I forget how old I was, but obviously under 19. And it was just, there's that part of it. And there's also the part of me as a competitor that, I mean, it doesn't get much better than the USA national team. At any level, being a part of that organization, it was just like, man, okay, I must be doing things right. I must have a good, mindset going for me to even be with all these other great athletes and great coaches. I just remember being so, so grateful and, of course, honored and taking pride in that right away.
I love that. And I love that you talk about the depth of it too, where it goes far beyond softball. It goes to your family. It goes to things that you hold dear. And I love you have been someone who has like told people about your culture, about your family, gone and done different events for your culture. Like, can you talk more about how that has has that always been something that you had a goal or a strive to do? Or I would love to know more, because there's a community that you have in softball that you guys go out and you do all this stuff. And I just think it's so fun. So I'd love to hear more about how you got into that and how meaningful it is to you.
Yeah, I think as a little girl, I didn't think so much about representation, like me being a representative. It wasn't until I got to UCLA and I got to college and I realized the platform that I have to be able to be that role model for all the little poly girls in the world that dream of doing this. And then it wasn't until after graduating college that I realized my impact could be more than playing the sport. I think being the person they see on TV is huge, but being able to have a hand in the actual development of these little girls meant everything. So the mission trip that we took to American Samoa and to Hawaii, it was amazing to see how many people kept showing up to that. In my culture, we talk about like this pipeline for the NFL and the men that play sports, and that we've done a really great job of getting boys from the island to the mainland or to the States, and how successful they've been. And now it's the girls' turn. And I'm so excited to be able to add on to the work that the women before me have put in. Like Kehlani Ricketts has been doing this work for a really long time, and others, I'm sure. So I don't know. I'm really excited to just playing is a lot, but I'm excited to do more than just that.
I love that answer. I think that's so awesome.
That's amazing. Well, that's why you do what you do, right? Like I think a lot of people don't realize us continuing to play for professional as long as we possibly can. And for you, Meg, like you play year round. Like you're playing in Japan, you're playing in Mexico, you're playing in the AUSL. Like I think it's important to know a lot of the kids that listen to this are playing year round as well. And it sounds like your purpose is to continue to give back, but I would love to know, does that help you avoid burnout, or how do you avoid burnout? You are literally playing year round. This isn't travel ball. This is professional softball that you are doing year round, facing the best hitters in the world day in and day out. How do you do it?
I think first I'll say I was super, super lucky to know at a very young age that I love this sport and I love pitching. This is my passion. This is what very closely tied to my purpose, a large part of it. It's a part of my identity that I'm in love with. So I think that for me is a bit of a privilege. And I'll also say last year during my AU season, that was probably the first time I've ever experienced something that felt like burnout. I loved the sport, but dog, I was tired. I was, oh my gosh, girl. But I think through that, I learned that playing year round comes with a lot of grace. And I think it also comes with an understanding that there's peaks and valleys, and every part of the journey is really important. I was talking to one of my teammates in Japan, and she was telling me like about the peaks and valleys. When you're at the top of the mountain, that's just as important as being at the bottom. There's just two different perspectives. Like, dude, it was fire. And we're doing this on Google Translate. I was like,
who knew Google Translate could be so philosophical?
That's what I'm saying. She's like, when you're at the top of the mountain and you see everything this way, but you know what? The view from the bottom is just as important. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. So that helped me a lot. Like now in all of these seasons, I'm expected to peak for every single one of my teams. And I'm totally down for that. I just have to understand that this upward movement, I used to not like this. I just wanted to live here all the time. But that's not very conducive to playing like 3 or 4 seasons in a year. So for anyone experiencing burnout, I think it's living in that area is okay. And it's okay to do this movement. You ain't got to be all the way up here all the time.
Oh, that's so... I can remember Halo and I actually had a lot of conversations about this because we, inevitably retired together. But basically how we wanted to end is that I kind of want, you go through your career, kind of what you're talking about, the peaks and valleys. But as long as the trend is kind of upward, like I want to stop playing when I'm still figuring, like learning and still growing. I don't want to ever plateau and be like, man, this view has been the same for a while, you know? So I think that
Yeah.
really is, I've never heard it put that way before. Like that was what a nugget, Meg.
That was great. Guys, I just be asking questions all the time.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. Our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Elaborate on that, because I think that is one. I think that's one thing that's really special about you, is that you're always learning and always growing. Like, I'm assuming you learned a lot from Lisa being at UCLA, but these players that you get to play with that maybe don't even speak English, like,
Yeah.
what's that mindset like? What questions are you asking? What are you like learning in this moment right now at almost 20 years old?
Well, I think that it all stems from a place of humility. You have to be really humble and understand that you can learn from anyone. Like, no one is perfect. No one knows everything. And the way I approach people is like, somebody is a genius in some part of their life, and I really want to figure out what that is. Like,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't necessarily apply to me, or maybe if I don't want to take it all the way, you could still learn something. And that's fun. Like, I would never want to walk through life assuming that I know everything. That would be so boring. And I think that's just the way that my parents kind of raised me. Also, something I think about too is my mom used to drive us to school and drive us to practice, and she would have like audiobooks. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of The Secret, but it talks about like the law of attraction and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So this is also, I think my brain is just wired this way. So I'm not going to lie. If you guys ask me why I think this way, sometimes I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I definitely know that me asking questions comes from a place of humility and curiosity. Like, sometimes I learn things and I just let them go, but it was just the experience of learning it was fun. And when I keep it, it's because I understand that, like, I'm just one of the little creatures that God has created. I don't know it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait,
You're the best.
I don't know how I'm going to be able to continue talking, because this is just hitting me right in the soul. I got to know, though, because I think that was a great point, is that everybody is an expert at something in their own life. So if somebody was asking you, like, what are you an expert at? Halo, this could be for you too. What are you guys experts at?
I think I've had a really good expertise in overthinking, and
Bro. Spoken like a true pitcher, honestly.
Yes. Great answer.
That's almost all I got, but that's the era that I'm in my life right now, is wondering if I think just enough, or if I'm maybe like overcooking the sauce on every little thing. Right now that feels like what I'm an expert in.
Great answer.
Phenomenal answer.
Oh man, I don't even know any follow-ups to that, because you swept me off my feet. I think one thing that I would love, kind of on that topic, actually, this might actually be an excellent transition. I lied. What does pressure mean to you? What is pressure? Like you said it, that you're going to be on quite a few teams this year that are going to expect you to be at your peak. So what does pressure mean to you? What does it look like to you? How do you deal with it? And go.
I mean, I have to go with the Coach I-ism here. Pressure is a privilege, 100%. I think I'm very blessed and lucky to feel some of the pressures that I do. And I don't mean to philosophize. I don't mean to be this guy, but this is perfect, because this is also what I've been thinking about. Okay, hopefully I can articulate this.
Let's hear it.
A lot of my life, I try so hard to control things and to make sure every little thing, mostly controlling the future and what's going to happen, and the pressure that I feel of the expectations and the goals that I have for myself. not even including like the pressure of fans and the pressure of games. But to me, I hope this makes sense. Pressure feels like this and control. And like, I just want so hard to grab onto my life and control everything. And I'm starting to realize that what is actually powerful is freedom and going like that and just kind of like letting things go. So for example, like, and I was praying really, really hard about this because I was just like, God, being here in this league, there's some pressure. Like this is, it's connected to the baseball team, and it's a business, it's a sport. There's all these fans and like so much pressure on me to come in and do a really great job and be perfect a lot is what it feels like. And I was just like, God, please help me let all of this go. And I realized in this prayer that in feeling, I thought I wanted to control things, but what I'm asking and what I want really badly is the freedom to just let it all go. So I think that if people can get to a place where they recognize the pressure, but they also just kind of free themselves to, it's a ball game. We're living on a floating rock. Like you're going to go, you're going to do something great the next time you're out there. If something didn't go your way, just like free it up. I never understood that until now, until like 3 weeks ago. I don't know if that is a good answer or if I articulated that well.
That's a great answer.
That's phenomenal. I think that's something a lot of people need to hear is like, there are some things you can't control, right? You can control the work that you put in, you can control your process, but you are never in control of the outcome. And it feels that way, especially for pitchers, because you're literally throwing 100+ pitches a game, like literally every time you go out there. So it feels like all of that rides on you, but for you to be able to have that mindset of letting go and that's just incredible. Like so many people need to hear that and understand that.
Yeah.
And I also, not to be obnoxious, but guys, after I realized that, I feel a perfect game.
Oh, that timing, that lined up.
That's what I was saying. Like, so it must be right. Yeah. Yeah.
Some people don't learn that until they literally retire and they are not playing anymore. People will say, I'll see it all the time with whether it's Major League Baseball players who have retired, softball players, like people who look back and they're like, man, I just wish I would have had a little more fun. Or man, I wish I didn't take that so seriously. I'm like, dang. Can you imagine sitting back and looking and thinking of all the times that you wish that you could have let go and wish that you could have just, I think that that's such a good point. And to get that to where you're at when you're 24 and a half, almost 25, so adults, that's going to be the landscape for your future, because think about what's on the horizon right now. You are playing this league that you're playing in Mexico just started. You're starting that AUSL season 1 starting this summer. The Olympics are in 2028. Think that the landscape and everything that's happening right now, what a time to really lock that stuff in. Oh my God.
That's what I'm talking about. The frontal lobe development, guys. I just want to get it in now.
I think we're calling this episode Frontal Lobe. I think that's the name of the episode. I do want to piggyback off of Sam though, real quick, because like I remember I was on your team at AU when you threw that perfect game, and
we were purple.
Yep, it was absolutely amazing, and I want to know, like, how do you feel going into the first season of the AUSL? I just want to know your excitement level, what you're expecting, how, like, all of it. Take me inside your brain.
Okay, first side note, they started playing music out here. I don't know if it's too loud. Can you guys hear it?
It's good background music. Yeah, we're good.
I love it. I'm dancing.
Okay, great. I'm so excited for the first season of the AUSL, mostly because it's history in the making, and just like what an opportunity to be a part of that. I think the past 2 years of AU, I've been really happy and excited every year just to go in and face the best batters in the world, and to know that no matter what happens, like, man, there's a 90% chance, probably more than that I'm going to come out better than when I started. And that to me is everything. But for the added layer of this just being history, for it being a traditional league where I'm going to get to work with players, a team for, a whole season. Not only that,
Right.
but for the sport of softball to have GMs and 4 full staffs, like it's just amazing, I think, and a really good indicator of where the sport's headed.
I love to hear it, man. And you're going to look good in that green. You're going to look real good in that dark green.
Girl,
Yeah.
I'm
Rubber
so
challenge,
excited.
baby.
I know that
That's
you
what
have
I'm
to
saying.
go. I know that you have to go to practice now, but Halo always asks our interviewees a final question to wrap it up. You've obviously been amazing, and we love you so much, and you've dropped so many nuggets. But Halo, hit her with the final, and then we'll get her going to practice.
I really think this answer may be really good because you've already dropped so many philosophical knowledge bombs, but we always like to ask if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be and why? She's thinking. That means it's gotta be real good.
Oh no, the expectation. I think that it. I think I would actually give pretty simple advice. I wish that I learned at a young age about grace for myself. I think I've always carried a lot of space for other people and my teammates to have grace and to work with them. And I don't know, I just wish that as a little girl I can remember so many times, not just in softball, but in life. And I'm sure that this relates to a lot of people, just like crying and being so sad because of the expectations that I put on myself. I wish that, honestly, Halo, I wish there was a conversation I had with you, and I know you remember it, about defining greatness. And I had a very early definition of what that was and what that looked like, and it was just so result-based. And I think that led me to set up a bunch of expectations to myself that were bound to fail. So maybe it's about grace, and I think it's also, the advice would be to look at greatness as something different. I've wanted to be great ever since I started playing softball. I know that for a fact. I know that as a little 7, 8-year-old, I wanted to be the best in history. And I wish that I had defined that a little bit differently. I wish I made it more about process and being the best version of myself than making it about results and expectations.
Okay. Great answer.
So
Is that good?
that's great. And it's something that so many kids, so many parents, so many
Huge,
coaches
Meg.
really need to hear. And that's clearly
Huge.
working for you with where you are at. You are truly one of the best pitchers in the world. You're one of the best teammates in the world. It was an honor to share the field with you anytime that I was blessed enough to be on your team and not hitting off of you. That was a great day at the office. So thank you so much for hopping on with us and letting us pick your brain a little bit.
We love you.
Yeah, thank you guys. I love you guys so much.
We'll be seeing you this summer, okay?
Yes. Okay.
Love you
you guys.
Practice. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
At this time, we would like to thank the USA Softball Store at usasoftballstore.com for our amazing gear this week. You guys can have the exact same gear that Samu and I have literally right now if you go to usasoftballstore.com. So go literally right now, and you can use code BHB15 right now and get 15% off your entire purchase. So buy a lot of stuff, get that 15%, let it all go to use. usasoftballstore.com. Again, that code is BHB15.